Hi, I'm George, and I'll be showing you two different ways to put shadows onto text. Now if you like this video, hit that like button, hit share and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon when you subscribe so you get notifications of my new videos. Check out my channel for a whole bunch more Photoshop Elements stuff, and take a look at my complete training course for Photoshop Elements. And there's a link for that right down there in the description. Adding a shadow onto text is the best way to make your text stand out from the background. And there are two different approaches to do this. Let me just show you those. I'm going to start off with a brand new file here. So go ahead and make a file, new, blank file. I'll leave it at the default Photoshop Elements size. Choose OK. Now the first thing we'll need is some text. Now I have a text I'm using right here. It's Gill Sans Extra Bold. It's just a real big fat typeface, easy to see. And I have a nice cyan color right there for that. And let's just type in shadow. There we go, and I'll bring that onto the page right there. Okay, looks nice. We can put a little bit of a beveled edge just to make it a little bit fancier, and for that let's go over here to Styles and grab this one right there. This is the Simple Sharp Inner. There we go. Let's go back to our layers, and in that little FX right there, double click there. You can then adjust the size of the bevel. I'll make it just a little one like that. Okay, just a nice little edge onto that. Let's change our background. Come down here to the background layer. Go down to Graphics, and in Backgrounds right here, if you scroll down a long ways, we're about 2/3 of the way down. There's the scroll bar right there. So about 2/3 of the way down, there's just a nice brushed aluminum look down in here, and it's that one right there, and puts a nice brushed background. Okay, so there's our basic text setting. Now the first way to do a drop shadow is just a flat drop shadow. Really easy to do. Make sure you're on your text layer. Go up to the layer menu. Come down to Layer Style and Style Settings, and that's the first option right here, Drop Shadow. I'm just going to hide that bevel for a second. There we go. And Drop Shadow puts an automatic shadow on here. Now it has 3 settings and a lighting angle. I normally put the lighting angle over here to the left-hand side a little bit like that. Seems to work out well. Now the size, right here, you can kind of see that the size is how blurry the shadow is. So there's very little, and there's real blurry. The distance is how far out the shadow is. There you go. And the opacity is how dark it is. Let's go real dark so you can see this. And there's the distance. So you can adjust the distance out right there. And then the size controls how blurry it is, how soft the edge is. Bring our opacity back just a little bit. And there we go. There's your first way to make a shadow. It's a basic drop shadow. It looks like the text is just hovering right above a flat surface. The other way is to give it a 3D effect, where it looks like it's standing off of a surface that's turned the other direction. That's also easy to do. I'm just going to get rid of the shadow in here. Let's bring our FX back up again. Let's hide that drop shadow and choose OK. Now make a duplicate of your text layer. Right on the name, right click and choose Duplicate Layer. Choose OK. And there it is. I'm going to open the effects up again and hide that bevel. And OK, let's just hide our top layer. So there's just the background, just the text. Let's now change the text to black. Just grab the paint bucket, make sure your foreground color is black. If you don't see that, just hit that little icon right there, make your foreground black. Then just click inside each one of the letters. Now it's going to say it needs to simplify. It's just a text layer. This will make it just a standard graphics layer. That's fine. And then just click into each one of those letters. So they're just solid black. Okay, now we need to push this back so it has that kind of a perspective look to it. And that's 2 steps. Go up to Image, come down to Transform and Skew right there. Grab the top center control handle right there and just pull it to the right, and that kind of leans that over. We now want it to go back into perspective a little bit. So go back over to Image, come back to Transform, and this time go to Perspective. Grab the upper left-hand corner and pull that in. It just kind of pulls both those sides in. So the top is now skinnier than the bottom, and then choose OK. If we now show our foreground text, you can see there's that shadow in behind. Now it's too hard, too dark. We're going to soften that up a little bit. So go back to our bottom shadow layer here. Add a layer mask. That's our button right there. Adds a layer mask. Go up here to the gradient tool. Make sure you set on the foreground to background. That's the first one right there. Make sure you're set at the first option here. This is linear gradient. And then come just above the text. Hold the Shift key down and pull it down to the bottom of the text. And that puts in a nice little gradient right here. And you can control how much it fades out by how far you come into the text first. it's going to go to zero transparency wherever the top of your starting point is. So if I click in here someplace, pull it down like that, it's going to go clear away at that top. So you can control where the fade out happens, where it begins to fade into the background, by where your starting point is on that gradient. Bring our text back in again, and there we go. There's our nice shadow fading off into the distance. So there it is, 2 different ways to make drop shadows on lettering. Now if you like the video, make sure you hit that like button. And again, don't forget to click on share and subscribe. Also check out my channel for hundreds more Photoshop Elements videos. And take a look at my complete training course for Photoshop Elements. And once again, the link for that is right down there in the description. All right, and I'll see you next time.